Hi guys, this is Pina Espinoza. Today I'd like to speak to you about work permits. Work permits specifically for the audiovisual sector. This is an area where, due to Brexit, there's been lots of movement and problems. I've been in touch with quite a few TV production companies from the UK, and many of them want to really continue filming in Spain and other EU countries, and they are finding it very difficult to get work permits for their crews. Even the consulates are quite overwhelmed and confused in this regard. What is applicable, what isn't? How should we go about this? Now, finally, this November, a new instruction has been introduced and came into force that opens the doors for a few new options for professionals who are non-EU citizens working in the audiovisual sector. This means you have basically three options depending on how much time you're planning on spending and working here in Spain. If you're only going to be here working for up to 90 days, you can do this without having to apply for a specific work permit. This is quite special. However, this doesn't mean that you can just come over and do your thing. I would always recommend presenting or having all the documentation ready if someone requires it, regarding your employer, the company who possibly transfers you, the company that receives you here, etc. Making sure that you have all the documentation to show that you fall under this option and exemption from being required to get a work permit. If you're going to spend between 90 and 180 days here, there's a special visa option introduced for you. And also, if you are planning on being here for more than 180 days, there's a special residence permit option, including a work permit, also being introduced for you. What really does this mean? Does it make a huge difference? Well, it does. On the one hand, you are still going to need a company here in Spain that is registered as an employer here in Spain with Social Security to receive you, basically, in order to apply for the permits. However, while before this, you would have to have gone through the general regime work permit application process, right now, the new options will be included under the law from 2013 that also introduced the golden visa options. So the whole process is going to be privileged. The main and biggest advantage here is that you are not going to have to keep in mind the national employment situation anymore when applying for the work permit. What does this mean? Well, before, and whoever wishes to go through the general application for a work permit in Spain has to have their employer first publish a job offer here in Spain. They have to be sure that there are no viable candidates to fill the position that are already here. Obviously, for many, many positions, this is going to be an obstacle that's basically impossible to overcome. And you have to add to it that the government and the authorities tend to be very strict in this regard. So even if there are no viable candidates, they are going to see if your requirements are too much, etc. So it's a very difficult obstacle to overcome, if not impossible in many cases. So now the great news is, since the new permits for professionals in the audiovisual sector are included in the Golden Visa law, let's call it that, the national employment situation is not going to be a problem anymore. You're not going to have to present a job offer, etc. You can apply, so it's no problem. This is really a big, big step forwards, and you have to add to it, which is also great, processing times, etc. are a lot faster than via the general regime. So all in all, here is finally a door opening for all of those that after Brexit have been in trouble getting work permits for the crews, for the people on set, etc. And if you need assistance with this, if you have questions, are interested, etc., get in touch. It would be my pleasure to assist you. And well, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.